What's up, fishing people? So if you've been following along for the last little bit of the summer here, me mostly fishing on Lake Sakakawea, you've known that walleyes have been deep. Oh wow, did I get a bite first cast? Seriously? That's crazy. What kind of fish is this? It's a smallmouth. Walleyes have been deep. That's just kind of the deal. And I want to try to find them shallow. So I want to talk about what do you need to do if you want to find shallow walleyes in the late summer. Well, first of all, you have to pick through a lot of other species like bass and pike and stuff like that, but you need to find a few things. One thing that helps is at least being near deep water. So if you got, oh, see you, buddy. If you got a hump that comes up pretty sharply and then goes down to deep water, that can be a good thing. Or you can just find a really steep break line, a really steep point, something like that. But you're near deep water. The other thing is current. If you got some current, that'll bring in some oxygen and potentially keep the water cooler. If you're talking about like river, if you're fishing a river system, they stay cooler, they could have shallower fish. Currents could be like, it could be a neck down area where the wind's pushing through, like Devil's Lake has all the bridges that everybody loves to fish, for example. The other thing is wind. If you get a lot of wind pushing into especially a steep break or a steep hump, that can help push some life up into there to get the walleyes to come up in there to chase all that stuff. But the big thing that all of this kind of has in common is oxygen. Oxygen is your biggest problem when you're talking about late summer fishing. Oxygen levels start to get low, life doesn't want to be there. But what do weeds do, for example? Weeds are plants that produce oxygen. So I'm fishing steep breaks, humps, near deep water with weeds today. And I did get lucky enough to catch a weed walleye out here on Audubon with ripple lip a couple days ago. Can't tell. Where would I see it? There it is. Oh wow. Nice. Wow. Awesome. Wow. Nice. Release shot.
This one you wouldn't think it.
So I was like, you know what, it might be time for a late summer shallow walleye, weed walleye kind of video. I'm gonna go to the walleye assassin. Last year I did that video where I was like putting really heavy jigs on and really ripping through weeds. You don't really have to rip through the weeds so much. They're not quite as thick and quite as tall. So I'm not using super heavy. I'm going to a 1/4 ounce, but still kind of working the bait above the weeds and not necessarily letting it hit the bottom. But basically like fish will, oh, that was another smallmouth maybe, I don't know, but he got off. All this to say, this talk about, oxygen, all that kind of stuff, like fish will be where they want to be comfortable at a certain point, but then ultimately they go where the food is. If they want to eat, they don't care if it's too bright, too sunny, too shallow, too hot, too warm water, whatever it is. If there's food there, they'll go get it. But the question is, will the food be there? So all of those things kind of help get the food shallow, and then the walleyes follow. So if you're fishing in a system that's not that deep and has a lot of trees and weeds and cheese, I think the bass are going bonkers here. Then you might not have a problem finding shallow walleyes in the summer. But when you're fishing Sakakawea, for example, like our main forage is rainbow smelt. Rainbow smelt is a cold water fish, and we have a lot of deep water in Sakakawea. So the smelt, as the season goes on, will go deeper and deeper and deeper until the walleyes get a chance to try to pin them up shallow. So one thing you can do if you were set on fishing a deep lake like Sakakawea, you can drive around until you find those smelt clouds. Instead of being in 40, 50, 60 feet, all of a sudden you start to see them squeezed up into 30 or 25. There's a good chance that walleyes are potentially chasing them up there. So that's the other pattern you could follow, is finding that bait being chased up shallow. But today I just happen to be doing the weed fishing thing. And I don't want to try to give the impression that this is like going to be an easy thing to do, that you just come out here and you fish some weed humps and you start cracking a bunch of walleyes. Like, this is a grindy bite for sure, especially late summer, especially here. But if you just don't want to fish that deep, it's an option. To be completely frank, it's not exactly 100% my strong suit, mostly because when I'm guiding, like, I have to be like, if 95% of the fish are deep, then that's where I fish, right? But if I'm not guiding, I can go play around with some of this stuff. But there should be some walleyes in there too. Oh, he came back to it. Oh, these smallmouth are fired up this morning. I was having trouble catching smallmouth here the other day, actually. He spit it again. I just keep horsing him to get the bait back and he spit it. I'm not having trouble catching smallmouth today, so that could mean I'll have trouble catching walleyes on this spot if I can't get away from the bass. Oh, and I'm also using my new Fox River FRX series 7.6 medium light fast jigging rod. So sharp, so quick, so sensitive. It's just like butter. These smallmouth are just crazy. Really like the rod. Got a Pissy Fun 1000 series Carbon X reel on here. I use the 2000s for the snap jigging stuff because I like to pull up line quickly. I just got the 1000 series because I want to keep it smaller, more compact, sleeker, lighter when I'm doing regular jig pitching, if you will. If you would like Fox River rod at a 10% discount code BF10. If you want Pissy Fun reel at a 15% discount, BF15. Is this hump going to produce walleyes or just psycho smallies? Maybe I should actually get one of these smallies in the boat so I can prove to you that I have one on, huh? Why don't we land one? And if we don't catch any walleyes today, we can at least show a fish on camera, right? So yeah, like I said, I got that Moon Eye jig with the Walleye Assassin plastic on there, which is also a Bass Assassin. Wow, this was the next cast and it doesn't feel like a bass. I kind of get the sense it might be a big pike or something. All I know is fish are fired up on this spot this morning, so if all the species are fired up, if there's walleyes in here, I'd like to think I can catch them. I am just crushing fish here. Yeah, it's a pike. Oh, don't break my lure. Looks like he's got it on the outside of his mouth a little bit, so I might get lucky on this one. Oh yeah, that should be okay. That should be okay. Determined to cause havoc. Determined to get back in the water. Oh, slimy suckers. We've only been fishing for 20 minutes and we've caught all kinds of stuff, but no walleyes. You're looking for activity. And I'm hoping to find some screenshots too where, because I've seen a lot of schools of bait up shallow on some of these spots, which is what tipped me off to say I could probably get this shallow walleye video done if I can find a lot of bait, which in this lake I'm presuming they're perch. So whatever that bait is has a good chance of pulling in some walleyes. I should probably retie that. And I also got that other Fox River rod sitting behind me here with that FRH series, more of the budget series. Besides being about half the price, something more affordable, it's one of the best rods that I have that I really think you could do both finesse jigging and snap jigging with. Reason being, like, it's very much sensitive enough that I had a lot of success catching a lot of fish with jigs and minnows this spring and early summer, but it's not as whippy as some of my other medium light rods, that it doesn't get a lot of that line twist around the end when you're doing jigging wraps, and it still moves the bait pretty good. So if you're looking for like a really good all-around rod that's not going to break the bank, that FRH series for $125 or $30, I think you can do jigs and minnows. You can obviously do vertical jigging then. You can do snap jigging, you can do plastics, you can do jigging wraps. There's no reason you can't cast a crankbait on it if you're casting crankbait. So like if I had to have just one rod to do all kinds of walleye fishing other than trolling, that would be the one I would buy. These are more like Cadillac treat yourself rods for 250 bucks kind of thing. So it depends on what you're trying to spend and what you're trying to accomplish, but better jog around a little bit here. Just keep covering some water on this point. I get 2 or 3 casts where I get bites and then I don't, and it's kind of empty. So I just jog around a little bit and reposition. All right, I am marking just tons of fish here on side imaging now. I was cruising ahead on the hump, and they're just a mountain of fish sitting right off the weed edge. I'm guessing those fish were sitting somewhere between 14 and 18. No first cast bites, however. And basically, like, my strategy in the weeds is not quite letting the bait hit the weeds. So I count it down till I think it's almost to bottom. And I'm doing kind of an intermediate snap jigging approach to keep that bait jumping above their heads, above the weeds. Like that's how they're typically gonna chase. And then as I get further out from the weeds, now I might start letting this thing hit bottom and contact those fish that I was seeing right on the edge here. As spicy as those smallmouth were, you would think that if these were bass, they would bite. Seems like they could be walleyes, and it seems like maybe I should put a drop shot out. So I got the drop shot out with the Nightcrawler. It's the only live bait I have. Since I'm actively working on it, I need to have live bait on it. All of the bites have gotten quiet now though. No bass, no pike. Must have been like an early morning flurry. I was kind of hoping that's when my walleye flurry would be. Worked that hump over pretty good, at least on the side the wind was blowing. So I suppose it's time to try a new hot spot. As I was trying to move, a walleye hit the drop shot in 17 feet of water. Come on, baby. Nice. Look at that walleye. So it's not super, super shallow, but it's a lot better than 40 feet of water. That is for sure. That is a dandy 18-inch golden walleye and ready to go back home. I started jogging with the drop shot to cover just a little more of this hump, and he hit it on the jog. I'm seeing quite a few marks cruising around here in 15 to 18 feet. So what I'm gonna do is troll a bottom bouncer around the edge of the hump and pitch the plastic up on top. And I might have to get this thing set so that it just kind of ticks above the weeds. So let me know if that bottom bouncer goes off, will you? Ho, 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 what was that? Missed a bite out on the cast there. Probably a tiny smallmouth, I would guess. Man, there's some marks down there. There's a fish out on the plastic. We start moving. Staying down a little bit. It is a Walter. Haha. Come on. Looks like he's got it bit good. He's pretty heavy though. There we go. There's our double duty. These walleyes are just real thick hanging around this weed edge here. So we keep covering water. Double duty. We just dropped right over another one down there. Now we're down in the 19 feet, it looks like. Okay, we got something coming together. So the drop shot walleye was probably in 16, 17 feet. That casting walleye was probably in like 12 up on top of the weeds. I'm seeing a lot of marks in the 16 range, even out to 19, 18, that we're trying to pull spinners through right now. So everything else seemed to slow down, and then there was a little gap, and then the walleyes started biting. The walleyes must be on a different time schedule. 9:09, 9 o'clock must be walleye time here. You can see, again, 9:09. If you look at that side imaging, we are right on the weed edge. So my plastic's casting into it. The bouncer's working the edge of it. And I wasn't working that bait down in the weeds. I was pulling it up over top, finding ways to trigger bites instead of getting fish that are super hungry. Missed something. Didn't miss that one. Ooh, I gotta slow down. Could be a pike. Just stay hooked, whatever you are. Stay hooked, don't break the line. That might be a pike. He's going around the boat. Better reel up the bottom bouncer line. Well, moving my camera didn't help you a whole lot, did it? He's coming on the complete opposite side of the boat. That's a pike. Just don't break the line. We'll get you in the boat and it'll all be over. Come up here. Nope, don't go on that line. Over here. Looks like he might be hooked on the outside edge. So I might not lose my bait. Oh. You've already seen a pike, right? How about I just get this pike off, get back to filming. Okay. Easier said than done. Oh no. Oh no. So you remember how I said I had holes in this net? Well, I zip tied them all. But he just made a new hole right through the net. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, pike. Ugh. Stop. Stop. You see what's happening here? You see what I'm dealing with? This stupid pike. I'm gonna have to retire this net again today. Oh, he's still got in the bottom bouncer line. Get out of there. Oh. For crying out loud. Stop. Stop. You're not even that big. Just get over here. Stop. Please. Get somewhere where I can grab you. That is a grade A mess. Getting warm out here. Resituating my mic. But I did see a pot of that bait on the screen, took a shot for you, and then at the exact same time, I got a little perch tap on my bottom bouncer. So I'm pretty sure the bait up here is in fact perch. And although I do mark fish here and there on the weed edge, like undoubtedly there's fish up in the weeds that you sometimes might get lucky to see with your graph, other times you just won't. So that's why if you see some fish on the weed edge, at least it gives you some indication there's fish in the area. Go ahead and fish it, get up in the weeds too. But the bite seems to be over. Time to let that spot rest a little bit. Another nice little hump right here. It's got weeds, it's got a steep edge, it's got all this stuff. And it's got a very prominent point. Right now we're starting by working in the saddle that connects it to another point, or another hump rather. And then the opposite side of that has a nice little point. So we'll try the saddle, and then we'll try the point. The saddle's deeper than I thought it'd be, 20 feet. I'll get up here a little further. Should shallow out, there's 18. As long as I'm in 15 to 18 trolling, I feel pretty confident about my possibilities and I can cast into the weeds. There's some more perch here too. Perfect. Got our bait. Nope, perch just hit the bottom bouncer. Ah, I did have a tickle there. A little carp scale probably. Or is that a pike? I don't know. Almost snagged one. Oh, that's for sure a mark. 947. Maybe two down there. Yeah. Two good marks down there. Hopefully I still have bait on that bottom bouncer. No fast action here yet though. I wonder if the bite overall kind of quit. Is that the only bite window we have? 30-minute walleye bite window for 2 of them. Night crawler's getting destroyed by perch, so I'm going to attempt to put a plastic on here. And we're catching fish on plastic, so why not? Yeah, I hooked up on the plastic. It is a rather large fish. Oh boy. Free spool. Free spooling. Walleye or big pike? I don't know. The line's rubbing, I can feel that. Is that a pike or a walleye? Pike. Dang it. Another piker. There's just a massive school of perch there now. There's another one. Holy cow. Boy, you'd think we get bitten here. Holy criminy. Despite how good this spot looks with all the bait and the structure and the weeds and the fact that we caught a pike, we're not finding any active walleyes here. So I think after this cast, I'm gonna be gone. You know, last time I said that, we got a walleye. Hint, gnats are getting nasty. Trying to keep them out of my ears. Blow, wind, blow. Ugh, inside of my glasses. Oh, I think I got another pike. On the bottom out there, doggone it. Yeah, that's pike. Good thump on the plastic. What species do we have? I think another little pike. We are just crushing pike today, I tell you what. What's this one? It's not jumping like a smallmouth. Is it another pike? Seems to be the odds-on favorite. Oh, it is a big smallie. He finally did jump. Let's try to land this big smallmouth. That is a nice thing about this shallow water pattern. Fish and weeds. You get action. Even if you don't get a ton of walleyes, you get other things to keep you busy for sure. Even if it's not the intended species, how can you argue catching monster smallmouth at the same time? That is a football. Found a new spot, pitching the tip, little point. There's kind of a little hump on the point. Second or third cast up there. Oh, we just got off. Well, it wasn't a smallmouth. Oh boy. Oh boy. Pike or walleye. Now I'm starting to think pike. Oh, biscuits and gravy. Navy beans, navy beans. I wound up eating lunch here. Soaking the drop shot for a while, which didn't work. Then I picked up some plastic, first cast. We got another pike. Pike, 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 pike. Oh, pike. Drop shot activity. Oh, it's a bass. Big smallie. Big drop shot smallie. And almost got him. And almost got him. Left-handed's tougher. Got ya. It's tanker. Tanker on the drop shot. As we continue to get into afternoon without light, the walleye bite is difficult. Smallie. Get out of the motor. Gotcha. Bass bite's heating up this afternoon. Can handle them all. Oh, we just got off. It's a tiny smallmouth. Seems unlikely we're gonna pull a walleye out of this mess, huh? Hungry smallmouth means they're gonna steal all the baits. I'd like to find a spot where the wind's blowing, but I don't know where that exists. New spot. Another point of another hump. With weeds. Marking fish. What kind of fish are here? Hungry fish, lazy fish. Drop shot's got a fish. Another smallie. Smallies are into crawlers and drop shot today. Let's go back to the first spot we actually caught some walleyes. a little bit of a breeze here anyway. Maybe they'll be up for an afternoon snack. Big old cast. Better get the drop shot down. It was good for one walleye earlier. Drop shot, smallie. Smallmouth are really fired up this afternoon. Can't keep the smallmouth off the drop shot. It's a pretty fun incidental catch though when you can just haul these in left and right. Some fish hanging just off the ledge here. Could be walleyes, could be more bass. They won't take the plastic. I'm just gonna work this drop shot down here. See if I can catch one of them on a night crawler and figure out what they are. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, hit the button to say so. Maybe subscribe to the channel, maybe think about Patreon, and thanks for watching. Later, Fisher. Oh no! Pike hit the drop shot too.